It's time to catch up with our next guest on Live on Lockdown. We've been talking about bringing him in for a while now, and it's our absolute pleasure. We've already had gate pick number 1, which is Mikey Pentecost. Gate pick 2 on Saturday, that was the Brawler. Then we took a time out, and now it's our pleasure to welcome big Bruce Viljoen.
How's it,
Brucey,
Matt, man?
welcome to the show.
Good to you. Thank you so much, Matt. Man, it's so good to hear your voice, man. It feels like I should be putting on my helmet and riding down to the start line, bud.
Yeah, hands on head, hands on head.
Yeah, hands on heads.
Bruce, what's been happening with you? I know you're one of the most hardest training dudes I've known, and this must be killing you. What are you up to?
Yes, yeah, you've actually had to be creative. I mean, I watched Mikey's interview and Ian's, and they're on farms and they're riding their dirt bikes and looking great. I think a lot of us are sort of homebound, like myself, and you've obviously just got to be quite creative. Guys from Baseford are doing sort of like a virtual online training program, which is quite well. Good luck and well done to Mandy and their team. They've got certain time slots that they're busy doing, and then at different slots they've got different people. I saw Ludovic the other day doing air filter changes and just general bike talk and nutritionists on and all of that. So I think it's a great program, eh?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that as well. It's definitely something I've been chatting to Mandy and Ludwig about this whole process the whole way through, and they had to do a lot of wheel spinning like we did here with Hollywood Hills and LiveX to go fully digital. And it's been a bit of a journey, but I can tell you the guys that reacted quickly are the guys that are benefiting the best at this stage.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a rocky road. I think it's a good way to sort of kick us all into the fourth industrial revolution. I think that's where the world's going. And yeah, maybe it's not a bad thing. It's just obviously being in isolation, you've just got to keep your mind clear and obviously just get a good balance of everything. And I'll talk about that.
This season, with a focus on talking about the GXCCs, but for the last couple of years, you've been one of the guys. I mean, you were the king of the GOCs when I remember them still running. You were just killing it on that 100-year-old 300 smoker of yours. Then you've been moving around bikes the last couple of years. Let's not give the farm away, but certainly from Poozy to Husqvarna coming up to about 2 years ago, it was quite a journey for you, hey?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, I've been quite lucky. I've been involved with Mike Poozy in a gang. Bikers Warehouse, as you know, is a multi-brand store. So we've been very fortunate. I've been riding from Poozies back in the day, doing the Roof of Africa, to racing the Husqvarna in 2017, 2018, which is a great bike. Honda 2019, and now obviously just transition onto the Suzuki.
Let's talk about this year then. Last year, the Honda was a bit of a transitional year for you, a kind of in-betweeny bike, but from everyone's understanding as well, half motocross, half off-road. But you seem to really come to terms well with it. And then it looked like you were going to change brands coming into round number 1, and then lastminute.com, you jumped back onto the Honda and had to deal with it again.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was racing the Honda, Honda had created this RX, which is a motocross enduro hybrid. As you know, Honda have got the CRF, the R, which is the motocross, great motocross bike. The X wasn't the sort of best, more of a farm type bike, and the RX just sort of checked all the boxes, especially for GXCC. It was a great sort of hybrid between the two, So hats off to, your Japanese bikes like your Hondas and your Suzukis. I've spent a lot of money and time on suspension setup, but this Honda, straight out the box, no suspension setup. I think we just set up sag and the basics and we raced it. It's stock standard, no special modifications.
Yeah, it was cool to see the big red coming back. I've been a big fan of it since motocross and supercross days, and obviously McGrath was the boy.
Yeah.
So there was always that crossover, and Roxon, obviously, in recent years. Let's bring us back up to speed here. So the GXCC round number 1, off the gate, you've always been one of the best hole shotters, and you knew last year what your competition, or certainly what one of your competition players was going to be. And that was Wade Blau. He was on your wheel last year, and he made life tough, didn't he? But talk us through the start of round number 1. Looks like you got a good pull off the line.
Obviously,
Go ahead, Bruce.
I got the whole shot, full on air. I don't know if you guys know, obviously for 2020, my mandate was motocross. So in motocross, we look for the smoothest, fastest lines. We obviously avoid any rocks and tech. And you'll see my special move coming up as I approach this little tech section.
Yeah, I'll take over from here. So
Okay.
for 2020, they rolled out what's called a chicken run, and Bruce was the first to go chicken. And you can see him on the left-hand side there. He had the whole shot going in, and he pops out of here in, I think, 7th or 8th place. So made life hard for yourself there, eh?
Yeah, definitely, Matt. It's just, man, it's one of those moments I'm not too proud of. But yeah, I mean, that goes to stressing out the importance of listening during the rider's briefing and actually just maybe walking the start. It's always a good thing. If you have those few extra minutes before the race, take the time, walk the start, check your start position, and all of that makes a world of difference.
You actually managed to claw your way back through the field, though. You're good at making those early lap passes. And to be fair, you were having a decent day until, 20 Ks to go?
Yeah, 100%. Regarding with the dust and stuff like that, I mean, I've been doing a little bit of training with Wayne Farmer. We literally chase each other in the dust just to get sort of used to doing those passes in the actual dangerous conditions. Yeah, I mean, my Honda, literally 20 Ks from the end, I had a mechanical, unfortunately. I wasn't technically supposed to be racing the Honda this particular race. It was just a lastminute.com decision to race it. It was literally scheduled to be motor open, do piston rings and rebuild, and then basically put on the shop floor for resale. So unfortunately, it's just one of those things that just didn't pan out. So.
Tough way to start the championship, and that obviously put you on the back foot going into round number 2. But that brings us nicely into what happened behind the scenes going into round number 2. And social media told us that you were on the Banana. Tell us about that.
I must say, it's been a great bike. I think in South Africa, everybody is like pro Husqvarna and pro KTM. And as you can see, that this yellow machine, I've been riding the Honda, and obviously another Japanese bike, this yellow machine, yeah. Absolutely awesome. I mean, it's my first motocross event. Haven't done motocross in years, and managed to get onto the top step. I won the race. GXCC was a bit of a transition. It's unlike the Honda RX, which is a sort of motocross enduro hybrid. This is a full motocross spec bike. So we technically had to change the rear wheel from a 19 to 18 because stock standard it comes out with a 19. And just obviously do the gearing. I mean, I was quite impressed with the gearing. We just did some sprocket changes, came out of Biker's warehouse, up and down. Literally, I ran out of road and I was doing 158 on the GPS. So definitely it's got the speed. It's got everything. Suspension's a little bit harsh because it's obviously motocross, and that's the final tweaks we just need to make.
I know Ivan's got it lined up. I'm going to talk us through the start here because you were definitely on the back foot coming into round number 2 at Falkville, but you knew that this was a track that you could do well at. So off the line, again, it was elbows up, you and Blau. It almost looks exactly the same as round number 1. And you'll watch as you go into the concrete kicker here. You didn't take the chicken run this time. Blau was there, and then you got it. But you can see how stiff that bike was. It was really rock hard.
Yeah, I think there was a snapshot you showed earlier with that jump. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the whole course because I could hit that thing pinned. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit hard and rigid on the suspension. But overall, it actually I was very impressed with the whole setup and the actual riding and feeling of the bike. It's absolutely awesome, man.
What blew me away at the end of that race, and talking about it being a horsepower race, everyone was just killing their tires. Your tire looked pretty new. I mean, I don't know if you were smooth on the throttle or what.
Yeah, I've been obviously on the Suzuki this year. We were lucky enough to get a sponsorship through Michelin Tires, running the StarCraft 5 mediums. And yeah, I've raced with those in the past, and they can take the punch. And we've done nationals, which is like a double GXCC, and it lasts it. Especially, I mean, 450 rips up those knobblies and absolutely destroys the tires. So it's just one of those tires that just holds out.
We were talking to Pentecost and the Brawler about their favorite bits on the track, and they just had nothing but amazing things to say about both of the opening rounds. But they loved Falkville.
Yeah, I must say that, and hats off to the guys from Black Iron Racing. I know they've obviously just taken over from Lawrence and the crew, and they've done an exceptional job. Vian with the route markings and the safety and all of that. It's been absolutely great, and I've really, really enjoyed it. And I know it's obviously new farms, so you don't have those harsh braking bumps and stuff as you're entering a lot of the corners. It's just nice to hold it wide open, and you feel pretty safe racing.
And tell me about what was your favorite bit on the track. For Mike, I think it was all the jumps, man.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on that. I mean, I was on a motocross bike, so I loved all those jumps. Obviously, you check it out the first and second lap, and then by lap 3, you pinned over a lot of those sections. But I must say, also, like with the motocross style, those sort of smooth, twisty kind of corners with that 450 power rolling out of those corners, there's like no better feeling in the world, man.
On the program, we were looking forward to going forward to GXCC round number 3. That was actually going to be happening, this coming
weekend,
next weekend. So, it's a bit of a heartbreaker. Hopefully, we can still go back there. We have got it on the schedule to move it out, to still stay at Rustenburg. Have you raced at Rustenburg back in the day? I can't remember if we did it back in the GOC days.
Yeah, probably in the GOC days. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the same farms. I know Viljoen and the Black Iron team have been getting us a new ground to sort of race on. So I actually don't quite know what to expect.
What about the rest of the season? You changed things up last year. You did EWXCs, a couple of Enduros and GXCCs. This year, you kind of gone motocross and GXCC and stayed away from the more tech stuff.
Yeah, so I had a chat to Mike and Kerry and Wayne Farmer out at Bikers Warehouse. Before the beginning of each season, we decide on the bikes and racing, the sponsors we've managed to accumulate, and thanks to all those guys. And we're just looking at sort of events like your GXCCs that are, a lot of people, spectators, riders. Actually just good exposure. I mean, as we all know, we're getting some good TV coverage there, so it's a no-brainer sort of doing the GXCCs. Motocross, doing the inland MX series, absolutely awesome. Nice to sort of get back, get some airtime and all of that. And yeah, we're just lying low on the nationals. That might be on the cards for next year, and we'll just see. I'm obviously just lucky enough that I've done the motocross, I've done the extreme enduro, I've done everything on 2 wheels.
I did my research coming into this as well. You thought you DNF'd the opening round. You didn't. You got a couple of crumbs. You got 4 points.
Sure. Okay.
You got a second at round number 2 for the GXCCs. So you're actually in 6th place. So this ain't over, brother.
Okay, no, cool. And now, obviously, with with the events being moved out and stuff like that, I'm not sure if there's going to be a throwaway event or whatever. I was obviously bagging on that for obviously only getting a couple of points, like you mentioned, for the first event. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just see how that all pans out. But yeah, at least it might be a podium if I can keep it together.
You're never going to quit, are you? Never going to quit.
Never. It's consistency.
Well, we are hoping to speak to Viljoen from Black Iron and GXCC management, obviously, in the next couple of weeks, as well as Leon from Farm Jam. So we wanted to speak to a couple of the promoters to understand what their approach is going forward into the rest of the season. But fingers crossed, we can all get racing soon enough, and sooner rather than later. Yep. Bruce, anyone you're going to give a shout out to while you're up online? Because I know everyone wants to give a big high five.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the sport wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for our sponsors. I mean, I've been riding with Bikers Warehouse and Mike and all of the guys for probably over a decade. We've been fortunate enough to get Michelin tires. They've come to the party with tires and mousses. Ryan from Polysport, also a good friend of mine, with the plastics, and also with our pits with the ground mats and all of that, always looking absolutely factory out there. And then also, I mean, the smaller guys like your dirt nurse and guys like that. I mean, we ride our dirt bikes a lot, needs a lot of cleaning. So, I mean, guys like that, it just all makes a difference. We've also, for the 4th year in a row, we obviously still got fly racing, which is great. We're looking absolutely factory in our fly gear. It helps a lot. And then also other players like Rudderman, Peter van Rooyen and Charles and those guys, just obviously also contributing and assisting with our race team and helping. It's absolutely awesome having guys like that in your corner.
I know you've been big buddies and partners with Henderson Products for many, many years. I see you kept a couple of those on for this year as well.
Yeah, I must say, Henderson always, I think I've had a relationship with Henderson since 2010 when I did the roof. And he's just always been helping me, So it's always, you've just got to back the guys that have always just been helping.
Bruce, it's been a pleasure talking to you. You're a pro, as always. Good luck through the rest of the lockdown. Keep the training going. Don't get too bulked, though, this time, okay?
I'm trying. At least there's no weights around me, so it's all body weights type exercises. Yeah, squats, box jumps, that kind of stuff. So I shouldn't get too bulky.
All right, Bruce. Well, good luck to you. High five to the family and everyone who's around you, and just good luck. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, and to everybody out there, thanks a lot. And yeah, just obviously keep it real. Don't get into any bad habits. It's just obviously just that balance of trying to sort of keep it real. Cheers.
All right. So we're going to start getting ourselves ready for a super busy week. Big thanks to Bruce, our gate pick number 3 for Live on Lockdown. We now get ready for tomorrow's show. Again, it's going to be at 2 o'clock. We will be talking to Kyle Enslin. Now, Kyle is a big guy. He looks after a lot of riders on the MCA Husqvarna squad. Matty Wilson is the key rider on the high schools. He is the kid to beat on that gate. Dav Cocker, just absolute killer, making his move up into the 250s. And we're going to be talking to a joint points leader. That's going to be talking about joint points leader Jason Fenzer and more. Join us on tomorrow's show, 2 o'clock.